and Drainer. They're going to be playing Death Knight, Balanced Druid, Resto Shaman, and then the boys, of course, going to be playing their Rogue Mage Priest, Bubs, Pacifier, and Ratipi. The classic versus the future. Who will come out on top? 2008 RMP or 2017 Boomkin DK Arsham? Find out today.
The Boomkin DK is very tanky, so it is going to be really hard here. Hopefully Passy can land some polys.
I mean, I'm wondering if they even do push in for CC or if they try to play back at all. They might. I don't think they can play back. I think the Shaman is going to outmana the Priest if they do. But
yeah,
Corki,
for sure.
Corki doesn't give any. He's just running in bear form already, trying to AoE and find somebody out of stealth. I could imagine he wants to stealth here shortly, but they actually just decided to open up. I guess Drainer got combat off the Death Knight there, so
Incarnation
to get sapped.
Yeah, and the Ruby.
It's like a classic move for Corki, pretty much, to pop Incarn from stealth, and he already dumped 2 Star Surges into Temporal Shield. So
they are going on Drainer.
Already lost a lot of damage, but the AMZ should deflect the Frozen Orb on Drainer and prevent the Icy Veins damage. He can easily line of sight here too as well. They do swap to Corki, but he's already in bear form. Blind over onto Drainer. He's playing Relentless, so he won't be able to trinket out of that. They might be able to chain it into something here. They do get the Ring of Frost, so Corki is going to be on the run for a bit, trying to dodge the potential Frost Bolts from Pacifier. Reels in, Death Gripping him back, a sap out of the Ring of Frost. Corki trying to peel with some Cyclones, but not finding it. Still a kidney shot on Drainer. No follow-up, though. So Corki should be all right in this position. Pacifier has a counter spell, but not able to land it just yet. Reels in reconnecting, and Pacifier is in trouble. Dipping dangerously low, forced to block with Temporal Shield.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of cooldowns used from the boys. What do they do from here, Bean?
Looks like they're trying to go on Drainer. Drainer actually has no wall. He used it on the first one there. He does get the Earth Shield up, though, so this is going to be kind of rough. The full Root Beam comes in onto the Priest, and they are switching back to Corki. Pacifier in big trouble, though. He has no temp, no block. Not yet, at least. Swaps back Earth Shield onto Corki. Gets a full polymorph! That's my boy Passy right there. Maybe a fear out of that, too. He looks like he's in position. Full fear. Oh my goodness, a double fear too. But Corki's just sitting in bear form, just being a little bear over there. The skin comes out. I think he's just going to be just fine here.
Yeah, Bark Skin and Earthen Shield Totem. So 2 rotational cooldowns used by KFC managers in one setup, which means that the boys could have an opportunity here shortly to set up for a kill, but it's going to be difficult. The pressure on Pacifier is mounting. Pain Suppression and Temp Shield are going to save Pacifier for now. They need to stall out that full moon as long as possible. They need to get in on top of Drainer ASAP. He's just hiding behind the pillar at the moment. Corki looking for Cyclones. Cyclones up the Mage, trying to stall out the Poly as long as possible, but he does get Mass Dispelled out of it.
Kidney into Poly.
Set up, but they don't manage to get it. They get the Fear instead. They need to get a Polymorph out of this Fear if they want to win. They get the Poly. Corki's not in bear form. He's getting bursted down. Barely jumps in very time. Any Magic Zone, but that, no, it is not enough. Critical misplay from Corki, jumping into cat form in those final seconds and not having that beefy bear form, allowing the boys to penetrate through and take down KFC in game number 1.
Just constantly be on the Mage and hit the Rogue whenever. Just hit everything, them.
So as the gates open here in game number 2, KFC managers losing game number 1, which is pretty important if you want to know your advantage moving into game number 5. That being the series going out to game 5, but we can see Deathrun already starting out, charging towards Pacifier, and immediately going to be trying to chase him down. Spell affects the Poly into a triple fear, actually. They could set up a lot of bursts, but Pacifier's peeling them away, and they're actually setting up damage onto Drainer. Ebon Bolt Flurry combo, anti-magic zone, barely down in time.
And wall.
Drainer's going to wall. So again, a cooldown overlap from KFC managers. That's going to be their main focus is defense, and using too many defensive cooldowns means there's going to be an opening later on, but in the meantime, pressure on Pacifier. Ratipi caught into a capacitor stun, down almost into execute range, trying to set up a defensive Ring of Frost, trying to deny anyone from moving in towards Ratipi. Kidney shot onto Drainer. It looks like they are just going to train the Shaman start to finish, but Pacifier can't get in there. He's trying to get in line of sight, but he's taking a heavy amount of damage trying to get there. Pain Suppression is going to be used to allow him to push forward, but Drainer's no longer stunned. He's going to easily line of sight, and so long as he can avoid this Mage free casting, I think he should be all right.
Looks like their plan is just to train Drainer or something here. I guess the DK and the Warriors seem very tanky. It's going to be very hard to kill one of them with Earth Shield, especially. But Bubs is literally just sitting on the Shaman, so maybe this will work. Earth Shield's about to fall off, but it does get reapplied.
he's just got like Ratipi and Bubs chasing him while Pacifier sits there with a DK and a Warrior on him.
Yeah.
I wonder if Pacifier should be Fire in this matchup instead of Frost. It seems difficult for him to cast. He's just spamming crowd control. Maybe they can Drainer by training him and just getting Earth Shield off over and over, but I'm not entirely sure. That he does get a double Frost Nova. If Pacifier can blink away from them,
He's
should
not
be able
going
to get in
anywhere.
there. He's not. Maybe Ratipi can life grip him. He blinks. He polymorphs the Warrior. They cheap shot the Death Knight. Looks like they are going to swap off of Drainer, realizing that it's going to be too difficult for Pacifier to chase down
Bolt.
the
Oh, the
Ebon
AMS on the
AMS,
Ebon Bolt.
But triple fear from Death Run. Ratipi actually trinketed into a stun, so Pacifire's in a lot of trouble. Blocks at 20%. Ratipi no longer in crowd control, trying to spam heal back Pacifier to full. Bubs trying to swap to Drainer. I think it's going to have to be a swap, regardless if the boys are going to beat this team. So how are they going to set it up?
No Earth Shield, it would be really good, but it seems really hard for them to. They have to bait it on the DK, and then just baited it. They just baited it.
I mean, they bait Earthen Shield Totem, but I don't think it was really a bait. He just used it on the Frozen Orb. Pacifier's dead. Execute at 7%, barely. So he vanished the Mage with Tricks of the Trade, and that allowed him to not actually be targeted for an execute there right at the end. So nice play from Bubs, saving Pacifier. Now he will have another block, but a full Hex landed by Drainer. He snuck that in, and Pacifier is in trouble, blinking away, trying to get the safety, but forced to block.
Temp shield. Oh,
so with no Temp Shield, no block, Rapture
is not looking too good here, too.
I mean, I don't think anything is looking good right now for the boys. They're going to go for a blind, a last-ditch effort to find a kill, but Reelson has anti-magic shell up. They sap Drainer. Drainer does not have Earth Shield, but they're still going after the Death Knight instead. Maybe if they can get a good crowd control chain, they can take out Reelson. Rallying Cry and Corpse Shield deflects them off for now. That fear, unfortunately, DR'd. They're going to Death Grip Pacifier back, but Reelson still low on health. Drainer trying to pick him back up. Ebon Bolt did get grounded there. Nice grounding totem from Drainer, buying Reelson more time to recover. Bubs sitting on Drainer trying to harass him so he can't immediately top off Reelson. And I think Bubs bouncing between Reelson and Drainer is going to be the winning strat here as they set up for the win.
I don't think they have anything left, really. Or, not in CC at least.
All right, they actually got a Spirit Link there. But Pacifier has nothing. He needs to survive for that Temp Shield to go off. He's got a couple more seconds. I think Drainer purged it off. Pacifier's in trouble. Ratipi's running low on mana, and the boys are on the run. Bob's trying to pull back, or actually no, he's trying to get a crowd control on Drainer, lands the kidney shot, but nobody can really follow it up.
No.
Ratipi needs to get a fear if they want to find a win. Icebound Fortitude from Reelson to deflect a Frozen Orb and allow him to chase down Pacifier. Nice life grip on the Stormbolt, but he equally death grips him back. Bub's just sitting on Drainer, trying to harass him. Pacifier getting bursted down. Huge mortal strike.
Oh.
KFC managers chop, chop, chop. 1-1 here in this series against boys.
That seemed pretty rough for a Frost Mage. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was not a fun time here for Pacifier.
Too. Yeah, that was not fun.
That could be their game plan, but that's a very all-in option. Let's see if they can execute it. I don't know if Bean is still with us. Dun, Bean is here.
Here we go.
All right, Reelson just Chains of Icing the Disc Priest, getting in combat, waiting for Bubs and Pacifier to open up. If they leave Drainer too far behind in the pillar, Bubs and Pacifier might 2v1 him. And it does look like they're going to open on him. Tons of damage on him early. The anti-magic zone gets dropped, but he's forced to roll out regardless. And it looks like he might be playing Tiger's Lust, as he did use roll instead of Chi Torpedo. So Tiger's Lust could allow him to get his melee out of Frost Nova without dispelling. I mean, interesting choice, but he does get caught no full blind. Reelson uses anti-magic shell to prevent Pacifier's damage, but that is now faded, forcing him to stun the Ebon Bolts. A sap, though, out. Reelson's still in trouble. Icebound Fortitude. Smoke Bomb gets dropped. He gets sapped before he could move and get in combat from the Smoke Bomb. Kidney shot out of the sap. Pacifier, though, can't really do a lot of damage to back up that crowd control, allowing Drainer time to reconnect that Life Cocoon. Now with Life Cocoon active, Reelson and Death Run are going to push in.
Oh, yeah. Pacifier just taking a ton of damage. The Pain Sub comes out, though. He should be okay here, and looks like they might swap to Drainer. Bubs is over by Drainer, just giving him a little tickle, it looks like. Oh, yeah, he's tickling him a little bit, but Pacifier is not going to be able to connect that at all. Not yet, at least. Just getting trained by TSG. Temp Shield's going to proc. They didn't do much damage into it. And Reelson just getting owned right now. Into the full poly! The cheat shot into the poly! The kidney shot into the poly. Excuse me. Delicious.
Oh, boy.
Dude, Ratipi did almost as much damage as Death Run. Completely open. Maybe they'll Hex Mage and try to go Priest or something to stop both, but if they leave Ratipai open and he's just able to freely go through his rotation, spamming Smite, it actually could be difficult for them. And this map could be their final resting place as Death Run charges across the map. They do find Pacifier. So no sap once again. Kind of an awkward start for the boys, but they're going to try to swap to Drainer with a kidney shot into a cheap shot early on. But Pacifier getting bursted down. Temp shields, but it might have been too late.
Purges the temp shield.
Suppression from Ratipai should buy him time, but he's sharp and bladed. Ratipai capstone down to the fear. Pacifier forced the block, and Drainer's got Earthen Shield down, so he's going to be all right. He's even looking for a Hex, full Hex now on Ratipai. Drainer squeaking that out if they can connect. Rielsen getting polymorphed away. Pacifier, though, getting interrupted over and over and over. Ratipai raptures to try and spam Power Word Shield, but Drainer might purge them off. He's spamming purges right now.
The grip.
Oh, will he be able to find it? Drainer's playing really aggressive. He's spending all of his mana to purge. He's just standing right on top of them. What a crazy shaman.
This is
blinded.
very crazy.
Rielsen's going to AMS. This could be a throw,
has no IBF. Yeah, he actually has no IBF. He uses it there offensively. Full stun on Bubs. He does trinket it insta, though. Into the sap, maybe half sap? No half sap. Oh, kidney shot. Rielsen might go down here, honestly. He doesn't have anything left.
Oh my, the boys!
That's
3-1.
The boys have done it. The boys are back. The boys are back in the finals.
Boys never left.
And with their single comp RMP, everybody's saying Disc Priest is terrible, but Ratipai is saying, listen, kids, I've got a Rogue and a Mage, and I'm a Disc Priest. We're back in town. So the boys make the grand finals. They will be waiting for the lower bracket to finish out to see who they will face for $8,000. And this means that KFC Managers has to go through the gauntlet here.
Turbo can really crush a Moonkin if he's not running the kiting spec. If Method target him, I'm actually a little bit scared for him.
Oh, here comes Turbo. Oh, look at Blizzard just on his mount, straight on Jamie.
Yeah, looks like they are going to start into Jamie. Jamie already popping Celestial Alignment first global, but Swapsy trying to reverse it with Bloodlust Bash, but it was DR'd. A lot of damage coming in towards Jamie. Ring of Peace, but he rings the ring, knocking Jamie out. Jamie looking for Cyclone, gets Storm Bolted on it. Although with Lian and no crowd control, seems like he's able to heal through the pressure quite easily, although already using 15% of his mana. If they can keep this pressure up and burn Lian's mana down even quicker, maybe land a Wind Shear, might be able to find that bursty kill. Barkskin was used in that attempt. Swapsy, though, now getting counter-pressured. Looks like they're trying to pick him back up as Botar is looking like he wants to move across the map.
The procs coming in here. Looks like the Death Circle here again. Basically TSG versus TSG here or something.
Yeah, Jamie forced into bear form. Trades out Renewal because he's realizing that Lian is running out of mana fast. Stormbolt on Jamie. Botar moves in, paralyzes Lian. Life Cocoon is going to be preemptively used on that paralyze. Jamie now trying to set up a full moon to reverse the pressure, but really, there's no pressure in their favor at this moment, and Doomwinds is coming up in a deadly 1 second, so Swapsy in Blizzo could unleash hell. Ring of Peace comes down, but they could Rops the Rop. Jamie gets knocked out, looking for a close. Gets interrupted. Bloodlust gets popped. Jamie getting bursted down, and Lian trying to pick him back up as quickly as possible, but he's already burned even more mana.
Yeah, look at his mana.
Just shredding through Jamie like butter.
That was Skin there, too, and his mana's not looking very happy right now. The full incap, Skin's going to fall off. They're going to do big damage here. Large damage. They're even cleaving Infernion, too.
Everybody getting cleaved down. Swapsy looks like he's running a cleave-based spec this game, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage with that Fury of Air is a talent, so that spinning cyclone of wind from Swapsy's cleaving down both targets is forcing Lian to expend more mana. He got Wind Shear on that heal. Jamie could be in trouble. No Barkskin, no Renewal. Lian, though, connects the Shayloons in the nick of time. They managed to interrupt Jamie's Cyclone, just tunneling him down in the middle of the map. Ring of Peace comes down, but I imagine Botar is going to Ring of Peace the Ring of Peace, but he knocks him into the room. They can't get to him. The Ring of Peace actually works.
He's actually lining his healer here, too.
He got knocked out alive.
Fully cap.
The Ring of Peace. Oh, my God. Lian trying to pick it back up, but he revivaled into Sharpened Blade, so all the healing was reduced on that, which means Lian's got to spend even more mana. They stun Jamie. They pop the Lust. Jamie trinkets out, but he's not able to get away. Swapsy and Blizzo just with 100% uptime. Botar in the middle of the map looking like he wants to do something cheeky. Is he going to cross the map? No, fakes the solar beam, but he gets feared. The fear ends up breaking, so it looks like Botar will be all right.
Looks like the mana's really rough for Lian right here, honestly. And Infernion's just going to cleave the whole time into the full fear. Here comes the burst. He's in bear form, though. Should be okay for now, at least.
Yeah, but Infernion
oh my.
Oh, now
very
Jamie getting cleaved down. Double shockwave to try and save them, but it
Oh,
won't be enough.
no.
Sharpen blades up.
Oh no! He got
Execute,
sheared!
Execute chops them apart. Swapsy and Blizzo knew the strat. Train down the chicken. Method claim game number 1 here against Emo. All right. Either way, game number 2 about to start. Jamie has swapped back to Enhancement Shaman to Mirror Method in a Turbo Deathmatch. To wait to see who comes out ahead. Normally, I'm going to just double check. Yeah, the Shamans are playing Ethereal form, which is a 45-second cooldown immunity to physical damage, which is very powerful in this mirror setup. So early on, they're just going to go ham at each other. Sharpen Blade is up on Jamie. Sharpen Blade still hasn't been used just yet, but Ethereal traded out early on. They're trying to force Swapsy to use his as well, but Life Cocoon gets traded out. Try and keep him aggressive onto Jamie. Leanne barely trinkets and Life Cocoons to stabilize him, and this is going to be pretty fast-paced damage, as it's going to be difficult for either side to kite away from the fight. It's just going to be all out from start to finish. Lots of damage coming in towards Swapsy, as both the Shamans actually are at half. Leanne, though, Kondo paralyzed first, and Jamie's in trouble. Swapsy chopping through, charge to reconnect. Leanne barely connecting some heals in time, but now Swapsy getting reversed on with Sharpen Blade active. Botar trying to pick him back up, and this is going to be scary. Jamie gets stunned, but Leanne is not CC'd, so it's easy for him to just soothe miss behind the pillar. Botar trying to save mana and use Shaylin's gift instead to get ahead that sense, but it looks like Blizzo and Swapsy are just doing so much more damage. Jamie getting crushed. Leanne can't pick him up. Ring of Peace gets dropped. Swapsy's hiding in the Ring of Peace. He rops the rop. Swapsy gets knocked out. Jamie's trying to reconnect.
Swapsy's playing this AoE spec again. I'm not really... he just dies.
I told you, man.
The Swapsy damage.
I told you.
He did.
Oh my goodness.
I told you.
Listen,
you have to use that from now on.
Of course.
You have to call it a death square from now on. All right, they're just going to
meeting at
charge in.
They're meeting at the square.
They're meeting at the square.
Oh, the
Shockwave immediately out from Emo as they do start the aggression, gripping in Botar, trying to burst him down in a swap, but Botar portals to safety. Ring of Peace drop down, knocking Swapsy away, but the Rop on Rop will allow no safety for either team. Blizzo tearing into Cervantes, just 1v1 him on the side as Swapsy is desperately trying to connect, but that Chains of Ice proving work. It looks like they're going to go after Botar, rolls away to safety. Should be able to stabilize from this position here as a lot of the offensive cooldowns were used.
There's the Shockwave out. I see the Swapsy with the AoE spec again. He's getting the shears on Lene all the time. The AMS before the Lust, so he's going to do a lot of damage on that Lust if he can actually make it there. It's getting pretty low here. The Shockwave comes out and the wall comes out. Waiting for next Lust here, though. It's going to be really big with no AMS, honestly. Infernion pops his cooldowns, a grip stun, maybe a shock on that heal. Nope, he didn't get it.
All right, Infernion getting lower and lower. He has Dab by the Sword, which is super effective against his composition if he needs to use it. Anti-Magic Zone instead. Leanne caught into a full fear. Trinkets out to move in and get some crowd control towards Botar. Trying to tear into Swapsy, but not really resulting in anything. Bloodlust available. Sharpen Blade on Cervantes, and Swapsy's ready and waiting to pull the trigger. He's trying to reconnect, but he gets Ring of Peace.
Here it comes.
Get over there. He has Bloodlust available. He pops it, but gets Shockwaved on it. Nice peel from Infernion. Buys him a couple of seconds, but he needs
Look at Infernion.
Barely activates that in time to save himself. Now Leanne trying to spam heal him back to full. Both the monks below half mana already. High intensity from start to finish. Infernion just getting destroyed. Leanne can't handle it. Swapsy ripping him apart. Method will advance. GG. What? Method GG will advance clean 3-0 to face KFC managers.
wow.
He didn't do more.
Dumatis was wrong. Cervantes doing 3,398,620 damage versus
close
Swapsy's
enough.
28,920.
That's
No,
Cervantes
It's
damage.
close enough.
I don't think Swapsy was third. Or I think Swapsy was third. Wait, let's see.
Mass root beam setups, maybe followed by a flare or something.
Yeah, he's running Master Root so he can instantly silence the healer for 8 seconds if he combos them together, but sometimes you can dispel the root, so they might want to do it out of something else. They start with a fear. Root Solar Beam out of the fear. Swapsy sharpened bladed low on health, but he's trying to counter pressure at the same time. Corki getting bursted down with Drainer and a stun. Ring of Peace gets dropped. Rop the Rop. Corki gets interrupted on full moon, but Blizzo is still getting pressured. A lot of pressure on both sides. The monks trying to cling back. Blizzo gets cycloned at low health. Botar's going to need to time his heals out of that to top him off. Connects the envelop. Blizzo should stabilize. Celestial Alignment was used in the initial exchange, so Corki's damage is going to fall off for a bit here.
Yeah, and Corki gets actually caught into a full Stormbolt there, gets interrupted on the clone, and he's going for that full moon now, try to get some pressure going. Doesn't seem to do too much, and Swapsy is the target of choice right now for KFC managers. And Botar actually gets caught now into a full clone. We got a stun onto Blizzo. I think they do have Sharpen as well out of that, but Corki as well is taking quite some damage. And right now it's just a DPS race. Neither of the monks have too much healing to dish out right now. They both got a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, Corki's just waiting for his Solar Beam to come off of cooldown. I can imagine that Drainer will move in for a Paralyze, then a Root Solar Beam or something along those lines. Corki, though, is low on health. Drainer's in a stun. He's going for a Full Moon for counter pressure instead. That does get AMS'd by Swapsy, and surprisingly enough, the TSG actually has good pressure. I wasn't expecting them to do this much. They do the Incapacitate into a Root Solar Beam to prevent any sort of denial on that, but any Magic Zone gets traded out by Swapsy. They're able to sit in that and avoid all of Corki's damage as a result. Now that Botar is out of the crowd control, he's connecting a lot of heals, and I think Botar is actually playing Surge of Mist, so that's going to be a super good mana talent, whereas Drainer is running Ancient Mistweaver Arts, which if this ends up being a mana fight, means that Drainer needs to drink early on if he wants to go for a long game.
Yeah, we can already see the Barkskin being traded out now on Corki. We got a Fear onto Botar as well. Swap's taking quite some damage now, but he does get that life cocoon, so he should be stable for now. Left Run is getting cleaved a little bit. Corki actually has no Barkskin, so he's going to have to sit in that bear form. We got a full Fear now onto Drainer from... He actually pre-cocoons that Fear. Great play coming out of Drainer, negating that moment where Corki actually didn't have his Barkskin available. That was very important that he did that.
Swapsy setting up a swap here on Drainer, but he immediately portals away, so they're just going to hit Death Run and Corki instead. They do Stormbolt Corki, trying to deny his pressure as much as possible. It seems like every Stormbolt's going to be going into him, but Shockwave with a Solar Beam combo from KFC managers as they set up some crowd control, but Swapsy and he Magic Shells and avoids all the pressure. They're forced to attack Blizzo instead, and while being in defensive stance and a monk healing you, you're probably going to be all right. Now Blizzo's trying to reverse the pressure. Sharpened Blade, lots of damage, but the Ring of Peace does knock them away, but the Ring on Ring, he tries to Death Grip him through the ring, and he's kind of just getting bounced between them, but ultimately no real pressure resulting from that. The only thing they're gaining an advantage with is that Drainer is down about 30% mana, almost 40% mana from Botar, and that's because of the talent selection between the two monks. Drainer definitely needs to look for drinks. I think it could be a good opportunity for his team too. They'll have to overextend, and when they overextend, then they maybe can attack Botar when he's moving in, but I can understand that he doesn't want to risk drinking and having Corki just die while it's going on, so it's going to be a tough decision and a difficult setup for Drainer to find that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And right now we got the DK artifact being popped on Corki. They got a big damage setup here, Sharpened Blade, as well as Warrior cooldowns being popped. Ring of Peace is going to get some of that damage, and as well as Barkskin. So they did turn on to Death Run a little bit there while the Barkskin was active, and he is going to be fine, I think, with that Blade Storm. So yeah, like you said, Botar actually has a pretty significant mana advantage. Oh, they actually got a full Root Beam here now. The Botar's Blizzo is dropping quite low, maybe into XQ range actually. Do they have anything out? There's the Incap as well. Don't think they have any more follow-up onto that. Blizzo's still quite low, but you think he should be fine for now.
Yeah, they're losing on mana, but with that extra Solar Beam silence for crowd control, they can get an advantage pretty quickly with that. They got quite a lot of cooldowns out from Blizzo, so Blizzo needs to be careful moving forward. Unfortunately, though, that was Celestial Alignment from Corki, so that's going to be his biggest damage opportunity, and he's not going to have that for some time, but he's looking for a full moon. Gets incapacitated on it. He's not going to be feeling too good about that. Does manage to finally connect it, but not doing too much damage. Drainer's trying to cross the map, but Blizzo intercepts him with a Fear from that heroic leap, and Drainer evacuates. Doesn't want to throw the match, immediately pulling back to his side of the map. Death Run is getting low, but immediately topped off by Shaylun's Gift. Corki trying to soak some of the interrupts. He's going to be looking for a setup here shortly with Solar Beam becoming available in about 3 seconds. But he needs to survive to that point. Ring of Peace gets Ring of Peace, denying the advantage from Corki. I think Ring of Peace benefits him the most. So this Ring on Peace is really not benefiting him at all. Corki looking for some Cyclones, trying to peel away the damage, going for a full moon that does connect onto Blizzo. Drainer needs to cross the map. Solar Beam's available. They have to start the CC chain. They're starting to run out of time in terms of mana, but Drainer gets paralyzed first, now gripped into a stun. He's going to get swapped over too. They're popping quite a bit of damage towards him into a diminished stun. Everyone is just dying on the whole team. Drainer revivals, but he revivaled into Sharpened Blade, so it didn't do anything. His whole team's still low on health, and they try to turn it around with a Root Solar Beam. If they can't get enough pressure to force Blizzo away, though, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and we're getting into that point where dampening is starting to kick in, and the TSG is definitely going to be doing more damage, I think, than KFC managers. So KFC managers really have to win with those setups, with the Fear and the Root Beam Silence. That's going to be their only kill window that they can get this game. We got a full stun on Corki now as well. No Barkskin available. No, actually, he does press the Barkskin. Left run gets disarmed. Blade Storms that disarm as well, and chooses to sit in it. We got a full stun now onto Drainer. Swapsy taking a little bit of damage, but he's going to use the AMZ, so he should be fine for now. And Blizzard's going to go back onto Corki, trying to get some pressure here. And right now, it just looks like the TSG is sitting really nice. They have a lot of defensive left still, and they're just doing way more pressure. And as a result, Drainer is just ooming way faster than Botar.
I'm surprised Botar is healing this easily with Surge of Mist. I was expecting the constant pressure from the Boomkin and Warrior to be more difficult for him to heal through with this talent, but it's working out for him. The only disadvantage could be that it doesn't have enough throughput in dampening, whereas Drainer will have way more than enough throughput, but he needs mana. At this point, he's losing on mana. Full cycle now, Botar into a paralyzed. Nice crowd control chain. They used anti-magic zone earlier, and he doesn't have it for this full moon. He AMS's instead, but they still have Celestial alignment up. Botar needs to be prepared for this. He gets the Shaylun's gift off towards Blizzo, trying to pick them back up. In the meantime, Method have mounted an assault. Everybody is just rotting. Drainer pulls back, channeling out the Soothing Mist to top off Corki. I can imagine he's going to want to pick up Death Run here shortly, but he's having to use all of his mana. As a result, he's using Crackling Jade Lightning, but Corki's dying at the same time. Shaylun's gift tops him off, though, in the nick of time. Cyclone's over on Swapsy. Corki trying to set up a full moon here, but I don't know if it's going to do too much. He does clone Botar. Unfortunately, it was DR'd. In the meantime, Blizzo leaps over for a full Fear. Both healers in crowd control. Both teams in danger. Swapsy low, Corki low. Who will fall first? And the dampening is mounting higher and higher, so Surge of Mist healing might not be enough to keep Swapsy alive. Moving into this, Rallying Cry is about to fall. He's going to lose that bonus health, and he's just going to go down. KFC managers, despite losing the early game, definitely the Ancient Mistweaver art's paying off deep in the dampening.
Wow. So KFC managers takes a big 1-0 lead here.
Pretty quickly, so Drainer's going to want to make sure that he reapplies their shield before the Monk moves in to CC him.
Yeah, I mean, Drainer's going to have to do a good job with his positioning as well to stay far away from the range, the shears, and all that type of thing. The incaps as well. We're going to see an opener onto Corki right away. Blizzo using his mount to get there, so he doesn't have to waste his charge in case Corki blinks away. And now double shockwave from Death Run already. Swapsy taking huge amounts of damage. He has to use that Astral Shift, but it's very late. He might actually go down through it. No, they have to overlap it with the Cocoon. So that's a great opener already coming out of KFC managers.
Yeah, Corki getting 2 for 1 on his Celestial Alignment, but it looks like Method are going to risk the biscuit, go all in towards Drainer, try and train down that Resto Shaman. It's going to be up to Corki to help him out, but it looks like he's just trying to kill instead of help him. They fear him. They swap off the Earth Shield, and Corki is still just casting Full Moon while he's dying. He barely blinks to safety. If they can reconnect him, it could be devastating. They innervate Drainer to try and get some free casted big heals. That was a very well-timed innervate. It's going to save a lot of mana as a result, but Method strike back quickly there, despite being behind. Now they need to be careful, though. Full Cyclone over on Botar. Swaps out in the middle of the map. Corki gets stunned. Good Stormbolt to peel away the damage. We have to wait for Doom Winds coming up in about 21 seconds for Swapsy, so his pressure is going to be low. He needs to focus on surviving, but he's just getting completely destroyed. He gets Capacitor stunned. Sharpened Blade into execute. Quick win for KFC managers here against Method. That Root Solar Beam on the Monk was devastating at the start.
That was pretty crazy. So the Shaman definitely high risk, high reward in this situation, but it works out. I do like that they went Shaman on this type of map because so that Method went Shaman. I like that.
All right, I'm just trying to see if the Warriors are playing anything weird. So Death Run is playing War Banner, and Methods. Is that Blizzo? I'm assuming that's Blizzo.
That's Blizzo.
He's playing Duel, so he's looking to duel the setups from them instead of trying to Warbanner CC. But Stormbolt on Corki early on. Fabio already has everybody dotted, popping that Incarn right from the start as well. He's going to clone Corki, trying to deny some pressure as they swap to Death Run. Fabio really tearing into KFC managers right now. Corki getting peeled away, but Drainer manages to stabilize. Fabio setting up a Full Moon. Full Moon will connect towards Corki, just blowing him up down from half. They decide to Solar Beam Corki. I don't actually know if he landed that on a cast. So Fabio Solar Beam is going to be a minute cooldown away as he did get faked on it. Feared away. It looks like they're chasing down Botar with Spam Purge from Drainer, but Botar portals behind the pillar. He's able to avoid a lot of pressure. Drainer's just chasing him. Drainer playing really aggressive. We saw this not work out for him in the last series, so let's see if they can punish the aggressive purge spam from Drainer.
Yeah, we got Blizzard right now caught into a full clone. They don't have too many cooldowns right now, but Corki is going to have his skin back up in about 10 seconds. I think they're going to be looking to go on Corki, do some damage, clone him up low, and then switch onto Drainer and get their pressure that way. That seems to be the strat of choice. And Defront is actually getting cleaved quite hard, and he got cloned up really low. So now Drainer has a lot of healing to catch up on him.
Yeah, Drainer doing a good job to pick himself up, but Corki gets stunned, taking quite a bit of burst here. Botar also getting swapped too. He's in the middle of the map. He portals back to safety. Fabio getting locked on that Cyclone, trying to deny the peels, keep his team aggressive. Corki not going to have Celestial alignment for some time here. It doesn't seem like there's too much pressure on his side. Drainer's mana is going down faster. I think that's simply just because he's purging. If he stops purging, I think his mana will start to stabilize and equalize with Botar. Deathrun trying to train down Botar. That leg sweep, unfortunately, was almost fully DR'd, so Deathrun will have full uptime on Botar. He leaves the port. Corki sets some move cast full moon. Oh, I thought that was actually on Botar. I thought it was like a 6 slide over, but he did it on Fabio instead. Botar manages to roll away. Fabio chasing after Drainer. It seems to stop that drink. And Corki looking for some move cast clones. He lands one there on Botar. Fabio, in the meantime, looking for a full moon. That's going to connect towards Deathrun. Botar now caught into an entangling root solar beam. But Fabio doesn't care. He's just popping Incarn. He wants to get aggressive, do a lot of damage. Tossing out some Star Surges towards Corki. Drainer sees Incarnation. He Earthen Shields his entire team. So his team in a good defensive position to line of sight Fabio's Incarn, and they're shutting it out completely. So great positioning here from KFC managers.
Yeah, and now KFC manager can just push out freely because the scariest cooldown on Method's team is kind of wasted at the moment. So all teams have their CDs, and Drainer's not going for a cheeky drink all the way on the other side of the map, and Botar is going there to actually try to interrupt it. He does get some mana now, but at the cost of Corki's bar skin. He's dropping quite low on the other side of the map, but he should be sitting nice and pretty in that bear form, and Botar has to heal himself back up to get into Vim range. Now, Defrant's trying to stop him from doing that. He gets him low a little bit lower, but he should be getting that Vim back up and should be able to top Method off here. We do have a go now onto Drainer. There's a full Stormbolt there. Not too much damage connected from Fabio, though, so Drainer should be fine. But I do think that Drainer's mana is overall being more spent faster than Botar's mana. We'll see if Botar can manage. Oh, he actually pre-dispelled the root beam there, I think. Wow.
Yeah, nice play from Botar. He's in a good position right now, far away from the fight. He's able to use a lot of free mana cost spells. Corki trying to set up a full moon. Full moon not doing too much damage there. He's got Celestial alignment up, so Corki needs to get cooldowns with this if he wants to get his team ahead and start getting things done, but doesn't look like they're getting too much. They Cyclone the Warrior at low health, try and make it difficult for Botar to top him off. Then Corki might harass Botar. I think it's important that Botar gets dotted and poked a little bit. That way his Vim and Vigor can get knocked off every once in a while. But if he's able to just sit behind the pillar channeling Soothing Mist like this, it's going to be very difficult for KFC managers to get really any pressure. Fabio is right on top of Botar, at least on the pillar in that sense. Drainer, though, caught into a solar beam, was locked on his cast. Fabio trying to set up a full moon. Does get wind sheared, though. Looks like they might go for the full moon again. No, Corki gets stunned. Yeah, here comes the full moon over onto Corki. Fabio trying to set up for the win. Actually, full moon's Drainer instead. They swapped the Drainer, but he already had Earthen Shield totem down, so he's going to be very tanky inside of that totem protection. He does opt to jump, though, out of line of sight of Fabio to try and pick himself back up. Pummel not available, so he will easily heal through the pressure. Corki gets cloned at low health. Interesting, though, is that Botar is playing Surge of Mist, and we saw that later in Dampening if KFC managers can make it to that point that Botar just couldn't heal through the damage with Surge of Mist, so KFC managers need to hang in a little bit longer if they want to get that advantage.
Yeah, and now Botar's caught into a Stormbolt on the other side. Defrant's trying to do some damage, but Defrant is just outranging his own healer right now, and as a result, he's dropping quite low. We got a Root Beam onto Drainer. Corki's taking quite some damage. Had to use his Bark Skin in that exchange, and Blizzard is now fully cloned up. Corki's gonna try to reverse the pressure. Full Moon connects, not too much happening. Defrant now gets caught into a bash, into a full clone out of that as well. So Fab's trying to peel some of that damage while Botar was sitting that clone. And that's the thing, though. we know that the Shaman can keep up in dampening, but can Botar, even if he has mana, actually out-heal the damage? And there's a full root beam now onto Botar, and right now, Corki is just kiting. He gets stunned up behind the pillar in bear form. He's doing a great job there, tanking that stun in a safe spot. And Botar now gets cloned up, and KFC manages looking to turn that pressure around onto Fabs.
Yeah, full moon shut down from Corki. He wants to really connect that as soon as possible, maybe onto Fabio. Full moon still being casted once again for Corki, connects that on Fabio, but Fabio bear formed it, so that's going to negate 20% of the damage, which is a lot. And it looks like Blizzo's going to switch targets. He's going to chase down Corki instead, but Corki's able to kite in that Starfall, putting it down. It looks like Drainer's trying to sneak in a drink again. Didn't manage to get too much mana. Now he gets swapped to in the Stormbolt. Fabio looking for some Cyclones, maybe to peel Corki away and deny peels from him. Star Surge is just getting lobbed out. Fabio's Incarn is available in about 1 minute, so that next incarnation for Fabio needs to be dangerous, I feel like, or Botar's healing output might not be enough moving into the late game. Drainer is getting pressured. Botar, though, gets feared away. Unfortunately, it was DR'd, but he does get Root Solar Beamed out. Unfortunately, Corki got cloned at the same second. Now Fabio's setting up a full moon onto the Warrior Death Run. Big damage follows it up. He Spell Reflects low on health, but he's in execute range. If he can get behind him on that die by the sword, doesn't manage to. Commanding Shout will boost his health. War Banner gets dropped down from Death Run as well, but they kill it off right away. The War Banner really doesn't get any value, I feel like, in this matchup. It's kind of strange to see that from Death Run. Either way, Methods seem to have KFC managers on the ropes right now.
Yeah, and that's the one key thing that Blizzo is running that duel. And Blizzo himself actually getting cleaved down quite low. He's actually calling the full stun. 15% if he gets executed, or he gets the cocoon off. Barely survives there. Crazy setup from KFC managers. And Blizzo is going to hang on for now, though, but that was all of his cooldowns. He's actually still in trouble. Difference trying to do some damage. Corki gets kicked onto that clone. Fabs is going to clone up Corki DR, and Corki has to use his own bark skin right there, and that's the Earth Totem as well. And now we got a mass root beam onto Drainer, but I think it broke from that Rent.
Oh, no! Maybe. He's caught into a stun with no Earth Shield. If they get any damage out of this, Drainer could be in trouble. They innervate Drainer, catches some big healing surges. Corki looking for a full moon now of his own. Over onto Blizzo, so it looks like they're focusing Blizzo, the warrior. They get a full hex on Botar, but Fabio can dispel it, dispels it off, so Botar can barely save him in time. He's still very low, though. That late dispel could cost them the game. Botar can't handle the damage. Surge of Mist is not enough healing this deep and dampening. They clone him low health. If they can move in and get any CC on Botar, it could just be the end. They fully clone him, and Blizzo goes down. KFC managers will advance clean 3-0 to have a rematch against Boys in the grand finals for $8,000. Everybody on KFC managers is actually playing relentless, so every blind will have to be dealt with otherwise. Starfall early on from Corki just charged in, put Starfall down, and that's going to get them in combat, not allow a sneaky start for the Rogue Mage, but it doesn't seem to really bother them in the last time that they fought this team. Ratapie moving across the map. He gets Earthbind slowed. Drainer's trying to stall that out. He does get the Root Solar Beam that will deny the fear. Stormbolt and Pacifier, but he pre-temp shielded, so unless Drainer can purge that off, Pacifier will be completely fine, but Corki gets a full clone. They swap the Bubs on that Rogue, trying to punish him for being aggressive. He's getting bursted down to half. Ratapie connects the Penance. That's going to stabilize him. Fortunately, that fear was DR'd on Ratapie. Does stall it damage from Pacifier at least, so Drainer could sit through his own fear. It seems like both the teams have stabilized through the initial threat. Taking a look at the cooldowns, Shadow Blades was used for Bub, so his big damage cooldown has been burned through, and Celestial Alignment was used from Corki, so their damage is potentially much lower for some time. Pacifier Cutie, though, is trying to get some icicles for that Frozen Orb burst soon enough.
Yeah, but this situation favors KFC managers more. Oh, actually, there's a full blind onto Drainer. He's playing Orc Relentless. So this could be a potential kill go. The Ice Veins being popped as well. He gets sheeped out of that blind and not too much damage connecting. Okay, so Cork is going to survive this setup. And that means KFC managers are definitely in the driving seat right now because they want to win the game by just stalling the game and just doing spamming damage, getting that priest to lose all of his mana. Whereas Boys, they want to kill either Drainer or Corki, 100-0 in a stun lock with the mage getting an orb or an Ebon Bolt, anything like that. So right now there's just some downtime. Everyone is waiting for their stun DRs so they can go and stun up Drainer and polymorph him and go on Corki, or stun up Drainer and stun up Corki and go on Drainer. While that is happening, KFC manager is just trying to dish out as much damage as possible. We see a full moon connecting. So what Corky, like, there's a full kidney now onto Drainer. There's going to be the full setup. He gets feared off of that, but and then polyed. But Corky's already, he knows he's the target of the setup. He's behind the pillar safe. So they're going to go onto Death Run. And that's because they can't go on Drainer, because Drainer was stunned into poly. No, stunned interfere, sorry. So they can't actually go on him.
I would imagine they're going to swap Drainer. He's playing Vim and Viger, so if they can burst him down, he won't have immunity to interrupts. He won't have the Defender of the Weak haste. He's actually a very susceptible target, but Bubs gets swapped to in that stun. Radopi trying to pick him up, but now Radopi caught into a fear. They're just going to train down Bubs. Lots of Star Surges getting lobbed out. Full Hex out of the fear. Bubs is on the run, trying to line of sight Corky, but he runs back into Death Run. Polymorph buys him a second for Radopi to connect the powered shield, but that entangling root Solar Beam is an 8-second silence that I don't think Bubs can survive through. He shadow steps back to Corky, cheap shots him to stall out the match. Full Polymorph on Drainer. Corky barkskins to negate the assault towards himself, and Corky's playing very well defensively this match, just hugging the pillar, making sure the Frost Mage can't free cast on him. Basically denies any setup, forcing them to attack the Warrior, which is not the target that they would like to be on. They'd like to be on the Balanced Druid out of Fair Form or on the Shaman. I definitely think they need to go on Drainer at some point if they want to win this matchup.
They do have the blind available to them soon. What I would like to see boys do is, now that there's no Earth Totem, just go blind Drainer when there's not so many interrupts available and try to blow up Drainer out of the blind. So he's playing Relentless. You can afford to do that. But most likely they'll probably just blind him and try to do a setup. We see a lot of damage now onto Ratify, forced to use that pain suppression. And there's a full blind now onto Drainer, kidney shot onto Corky. There's the Heaven Bolt Flurry. There we go. Okay, that works.
That's the boys. I swear, that's how the boys do it. That's literally how the boys do it. You think that you count them out and then just they come back and they just say, no.
Plus beam, plus kicks onto the mage, and the mage will just take damage, and the priest will have to spam heal him, and then they will go out of mana. But we'll see what they do here. The boys most likely gonna try to open up on Corky. Drainer knows that. He has an Earth Shield on Corky. Corky sitting in bear form as well, trying to negate that opener. We got a full cap totem immediately onto Ratify. There's a polymorph, actually full polymorph onto Drainer. Sheep shot onto Corky without being in bear form. Ebon Bolt connects as well. This is a huge opener.
Oh, Renewal saves him though, and he's in Earthen Shield Totem, so Corky will survive the initial exchange, and that was Icy Veins and Shadow Blades. When they make it swap to Drainer, triple cheap shot, Ice Lances are flying, Spirit Link forced out from Drainer, and that's the advantage of the small map, is that the Rogue can easily access a target and swap over. They forced quite a lot of cooldowns off the bat. Death Run wanted to play aggressive and attack Radopi. He's actually still just training into Radopi, which is much different strat. Full blind on Drainer. Drainer's actually playing Trinket this time, so he can Trinket out of blind, and that will deny this setup completely. Triple Fear, Bub's in trouble, low on health. He's using Smoke Bomb to line of sight at the moment. No one can attack him. Radopi with Rapture up should be able to spam powered shields, but if Drainer can get in there and purge them off just as fast as they're going up, he might be in trouble. Radopi still just getting trained down. He fears Drainer away. Solar Beam onto the Shadow Man, and Radopi is in trouble. He's in execute range. One execute connects with pain suppression, buys him time to survive. They set up for the win here over on a Corky. Ebon Bolt, and it's going to be Barkskin at 30%. Commanding Shout barely saves Corky to get out of line of sight. Radopi still getting trained down, and this is what I was kind of asking you. I was wondering if Death Run should maybe train the Priest. Seems like he's having a hard time healing through it, but now finally, Pacifier, Polymorphs, Death Run. Drainer insta-dispels it, so he Polymorphs him again. If Radopi can get a Frost Nova on Death Run over here and allow Radopi to push in, maybe they can get something done. But if Death Run chases the Priest, I think it's much more difficult for him to get Fears. If they don't have Fears, I don't think they have enough CC to actually kill. So maybe this will work for Death Run. I feel like he's the most open target. He's trying to punish the healer. Bubs gets cloned up. Radopi gets stunned. Corky's moving in. Full Moon connects. Radopi in danger. Sharpened Blade active. He jumps to line of sight Corky, but it's a one-on-one between the Warrior. I don't know if a Disgrace wins that. Corky's on top of him. It's turning into a healer race. Drainer gets swapped. Double Fear out from Radopi for the punish. Drainer down to half. Penance is coming in offensive on a Drainer, but Radopi gets Solar Beam. Drainer and Radopi in a lot of trouble. This could go down to a 2v2 if they can keep the pressure, but Drainer escapes. No, he gets step kicked. Radopi still low, barely gets away. Death Run gets polymorphed. Drainer jumps off the side. The line of sight Corky. The healers sustain themselves. Very close call for both teams.
Yeah, again, advantageous situation for KFC managers. We got a double fear coming out immediately onto Ratify. They seem to be going on to Pacify for a little bit. I would like to see them go back onto Ratify. Ratify actually going to land a full fear out of that. Corky had to use his Barkskin in that exchange. So I would say the Rogue Mage has possibly like 2 more setups. And here's one now onto Drainer. There's big damage coming. There's the flurry. He's in the open. There's triple sheep shots. Can they finish him off though? He doesn't have Link.
Ah!
He
That
doesn't-
juicy Light's Wrath from Ratify was just enough damage to push Drainer over the edge. And the boys take it 2-0 now, 1 win away from big monies.
Because since he's playing Earth Shield, I don't think they will run at Ratify. I think they will run at Pacifier and
Whoa!
just try to him that way.
Immolation Aura dispels all magic effects on you when cast. Does that mean he can dispel himself out of Frost Nova? Maybe this is real. I don't know.
Oh, they're running onto Ratify.
All right, they're going to start with a healer train playing this tank composition, which will boost the Arms Warrior damage quite a lot. So let's see if it works out for them. Ratify is getting zerged down, but they're equally going to be zerging down Drainer. Do they have the peels to keep him alive? Flurry connects. He walls at 20% with Earth Shield up, trying to escape to safety. Fears Bubs away. Ratify gets silenced. Reels in just training into Ratify, but he seems to be dealing with it quite fine. Drainer's trying to get in there and purge a little bit, but they choose to polymorph him instead and swap targets. But you have to attack a warrior, attack a tank, demon hunter. I don't know if those are going to be good targets at all. They might opt to just go back to Drainer here very shortly, but Ratify's Rapture has faded, so he's not going to have instant power with shields for quite some time. They set up triple CC, but Deathrun trades out Die by the Sword right away to stabilize. They're just jumping right back onto the Priest, Ratify, but he seems to be dealing with it quite fine.
Yeah, I think the next setup onto Drainer could be deadly. He's already stacking up with his team, so he can try to pre-link that maybe, or at least get a link out immediately. And there's the Ebon Bolt being casted right now. He does get sheared on it. Actually, a fail from Bubs there, not restunning in time. Drainer actually sheared that one. So this setup, he should be fine for the next one. He's also going to have Astro Shift. So right now, KFC managers are in a pretty commanding positioning, turning their attention onto Ratify, who just used the Fade. Doesn't have pain suppression available to him, but does use that barrier. He gets stunned up, though, at the edge of the barrier. Oh, actually, he does have pain suppression. He does use that cooldown right now, though. That was his last line of defense. I don't think he has anything if they try to go on him after this, but he should stabilize boys for now. And they do have a full poly onto Drainer. Can they get another one? I think they do. No, Drainer manages to come out and share that. Ratify still in quite some trouble, dropping down to about 40% right now. Drainer chooses to
Ooh, Spear Bomb! Oh, big executes, and Ratify actually goes down to the Arms Warrior Vengeance Demon Hunter Restless Shaman.
That wasn't actually that big of a Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, it wasn't that big.
680,000.
That's weak, man.
Yeah.
You need to give Reels in your energy. That Spirit Bomb was pretty weak.
For sure.
That's
He
not-
stay far away and let his mage polymorph, Dragon's Breath polymorph people behind the pillars.
What do you think about Greater Pyro?
Could be viable in this situation,
In
but
this
I think there's too many. There's too many range interrupts plus grounding as well for it to be good.
All right, they are going to cheap shot Drainer, but it looks like they're going on the Warrior instead. Drainer grounds the poly. He's trying to Hex Pacifier. Pacifier tried to Prismatic it, but he can't do that anymore, so he got Hex, had to Trinket, and then poly. But Deathrun is taking quite a bit of damage behind the pillar. He is in Earthen Shield Totem, so nice play from Drainer getting that Totem down before he got polymorphed. Deathrun is playing really aggressive, though, and Drainer's caught into a full blind. He's playing relentless. Deathrun leaps back into line of sight, but that's also a line of sight Pacifier. They silence him out. Deathrun is still low. He's going to charge back and try and Warbender, but what's he trying to Warbender? There was no crowd control left. So Warbanner basically wasted. Deathrun still taking quite a bit of pressure. Much more damage than I expected. Drainer trying to recover. They fear away the DPS. Pacifier actually blocks. So he knows that he could be a target. Yeah, Reelsons is trying to punish that block. They're going to swap back over to Pacifier, try and punish that aggressive play. Let's see if they can accomplish it. I don't know if they have enough damage to.
Yeah, he did get that polymorph off, but Reelson just going to reverse magic that. So that was definitely not worth the block for. Now Pacifier could be the target just because of that offensive ice block. Since he is a fire mage and not a frost mage anymore, he won't have a secondary block. So if they can manage to get any pressure, but right now Deathrun is taking quite some damage, and Drainer actually gets counterspell there full on his heal. If they can get a fear off, Ratify is chasing for it. Ratify is trying to do whatever he can to reach that fear. He's almost there. He gets the fear, but they overlap it with a polymorph. That is terrible. Deathrun should be able to stabilize from of the setup. And for the next setup, Reelson is going to have his reverse magic back. So that was a big misplay there coming out of Pacifier and Ratify, a big miscommunication.
Yeah, nice fear into cap stun on Ratify. Good CC chain from KFC managers. They're training down Pacifier Cutie. It does look like Drainer fake cast the counter spell, so very important for him to free cast during Vendetta and avoid crowd control. He's doing an okay job so far. Line of sight and grounds that polymorph. Pacifier tries to sneak a Ring of Frost. Drainer doesn't fall for it, avoids it. Ratify is moving in. He wants to fear, but he gets imprisoned. Pacifier gets stunned. They're punishing him for the YOLO block. Hunterize triggers. He's still stunned up. Pain suppression is going to be used, but Ratify gets silenced, and Pacifier on the run. Reelson chasing after him, reconnecting right away. Ratify, though, spam healing Shadow Men's. Mana is going to be a big issue, though. It looks on both sides. War Banner from Death Run, trying to predict some CC, but doesn't manage to get anything with it. Pre-Earthen Shield Totem, double Fear out from Death Run. If they connect on a Pacifier, this could just be it. Death Run does the YOLO leap out of the Earthen Shield Totem to find the kill, but Life grips him to safety, and now Drainer's caught in a full polymorph. Death Run's out of the Earthen Shield Totem. He has no defensive cooldowns. Drainer, if he gets locked on this healing surge, could be the end of the match. He's not fake casting the counterspell. Pacifier's holding on to it to the bitter end. He doesn't have Link. He has nothing. Death Run's low. He's trying to go for the YOLO kill and just push in instead, but Drainer can't cast the counterspell. He's still very low. Counterspells him on cast. Death Run into trouble. Pacifier in trouble. Death Run at 5%. Silences the mage.
Oh,
is it enough? No. Pacifier's still low. Sharpened Blade active. If they can interrupt him, Pacifier, this could go down to a 2v2. Ratipipe's trying to pick him up. Full Hex. Reelson gets polyed though. Pacifier hangs on at 20%. Barely. He goes for an invis. If Reelson can use the Shadow Sight maybe to find him, pull him out of stealth, but runs out of time. Doesn't find the kill, and I don't think at this point that a Spirit Bomb could even save KFC managers. The boys are looking to be like your champions.
Yeah, it's going to look like boys are going to be taking the series. And the tournament, congratulations to the boys. A phenomenal job. It came down to that last counterspell. If Drainer managed to fake it, he probably would have stabilized Death Run, and Death Run probably would have executed the Pacifier.